Welcome to Math Lessons with Linda. Today's lesson is solving a system of equations using substitution. Here are our two equations for today. 3x plus 2y equals 12, and x plus y equals 3. Many times when you are solving a system of equations, they will give you the equations in this form, which is a standard form, where you have the x's and the y's and the numbers, they all line up with each other. It doesn't matter, we're going to do some changing around with the equations anyway. So we're going to start off by figuring out which equation is easiest to substitute into the other. And in general, if you are required to use substitution to solve a system, you want to choose an equation where at least one of your variables has a coefficient of 1. In this case, our second equation has a 1x and a 1y. This equation is going to be the one that I want to substitute into the other equation. Before I can do that, the reason I wanted these to be a 1x or a 1y is because I'm going to solve for one of those variables. I think for most of us, we're used to solving for the y. So I'm going to take this equation separately, and I'm going to solve for the y, meaning I have to subtract x from both sides. So I get y equals 3 minus x. Now, I have this y all by itself, and it is equivalent to 3 minus x. The 3 minus x is what I'm going to take, and I'm going to substitute that into the other equation. And everywhere I see a y, which is right here with the 2y, instead of that y, I'm going to substitute in this 3 minus x. And I'll show you why we're going to do that. So the 3x, that stays the same. I get to the plus 2, and when I get to the y, here comes that 3 minus x. This is where I am substituting in, instead of y, I'm plugging in the 3 minus x. Everything else in this first equation is going to stay the same. The 3x and the 12 don't change. Now, why do we do that? Why do we have to substitute in? Well, if I want to figure out what my solution is for my system, I have to be able to solve for each variable. And the only way I can solve for a variable is if I just have the same x or the same y, and that's all I've got. So now I have all x's in my equation. We are going to use a skill that we've done before, which is the distributive property. Now I have to distribute the 2 to everything in my parenthesis. So the 3x stays the same. 2 times 3, I'm going to have a 6. 2 times negative x is negative 2x equals 12. I'm going to look for like terms to combine. So that's the 3x and the minus 2x. 3 minus 2 leaves me with 1x. Don't forget you still have a 6 here. And we have equals 12. So now I'm just going to subtract my 6. So I get x equals 6. We have found the first part of our solution for our system. You've done all the hard work. Here comes the next part. I'm going to take this 6, and remember over here where we already had solved it for y? I'm going to plug in my 6 in place of the x, and that's how I get my y value. 3 minus 6 is negative 3. So here are my two parts. Last step is remember that your solution is a point of intersection. 6, negative 3 is my point of intersection for my system. And that's how I solve using substitution.